services. So without further ado, I would like to invite Jorge Andrade Santos from Altice, Portugal. So Jorge himself wasn't involved in international connectivity for 100 years. So, you know, but he has a lot of experience in Altice Portugal, and Altice Portugal is, of course, as a historical operator who's been established in Portugal for a long time, is probably the most experienced in how to connect Portugal to the world. And him being responsible for international wholesale services and strategies in that regard, I think is the best person to present us that. So please, Jorge.
So, thank you, Thomas. Yes, it's true. I'm not 100 years old experienced, but yes, I'm still learning and wanting to learn, and it is a pleasure to be here today. And first, to say thanks to all the organization and to having invited us to be here in a time that we think is really dynamic in terms of industry-wise and for Portugal also. So for us, it is a pleasure, and just wanted to say thanks. And today, I'm going to talk to you about Altice and its submarine connectivity, but also from its gateways, data gateways. So let's start by having a quick look into Altice's universe. So we were founded in the beginning of this century. And although we are quite a young company as a group, we now are present in 5 main territories with focus on the US and also in Europe. We have now more than 55 million customers on telecom, media, and advertising industries. But we take R&D pretty seriously also. And from Portugal, we are exporting technology for now more than 60 countries. And just focusing a bit on the Portuguese market, which I believe you are seeing, yes. Altice has leadership in all business lines, be it B2B or B2C. And this has been leveraged essentially on our network capillarity. We have now almost 60 million houses passed with fiber. This means that we have reached almost 85% of all the households in Portugal with fiber optics. And though these business lines are best known to the general public, we have been also involved and focusing on what international connectivity is regarded to. So we have been one of the main drivers, not to say the main driver in Portugal for international connectivity. So if we take Portugal geography, and let me say just this before I go into the next topic, because I think it is important. Although we are part of Altice since 2001, we have a history behind us of almost 100 years. So we date back to 1925 when Marconi, or Companhia Portuguesa Radio Marconi, was born. And later, to this company, the government passed the exploration of all submarine and satellite assets. And so, of course, taking into account the Portuguese geographical position, but also the international voice market, the need to interconnect the territories outside Europe, but also the then data boom in terms of data consumption. We have made this network, this international network grew, and it's essentially built around submarine cables. And as it was already said several times today, and we are not going, it's not that late in the day, but we, until 6 months ago, were still the only country in the world directly connected to all continents. So it shows pretty much what Portugal means in this geography, in this telecommunications geography. Of course, we are not just involved in submarine cables, and our network, international network, is also made of our network nodes. As said in the beginning, we are focused in Europe and in the US, and our international POPs now go from Amsterdam, Frankfurt, London, into the eastern coast of the US, and then the regional POPs. So our network, the network that was initially deployed by Portugal, is now serving Altice OpCos, all Altice OpCos. But also, this network had to be supported in ground infrastructures with good quality and high resilience. And so if we now focus on the main, on what we consider the main international infrastructures in terms of telco, we can see that around the Lisbon area, where you see Sintra Teleport, you will see that there are not only Sintra Teleport, but also two CLSs. So the circles are the two main CLSs of our international business. One of them is Carcavelos, the other one is Sesimbra. Why are they located in Carcavelos and Sesimbra? Why were they the first choice for us to move into Carcavelos and Sesimbra? Well, one, because they are close to where the interconnection is made, where all the data was supposed to happen in terms of the Portuguese geography. But also because they are facing south, so the landing points are protected from the Atlantic swell. So it means that in terms of landing, they are a safe place to land and a cost-effective one also. And moving a bit, just to say that all these networks and all this infrastructure was also supporting one vital infrastructure in terms of Portugal, which is the COVA. And yes, all the islands are now interconnected, and they are interconnected at least from 20 years ago. And they are all interconnected with submarine cables owned by Altice. And this is something that is not known in the general public in Portugal. So people that live in the archipelagos use data, but most of the times they don't know where that data comes from. And so, for us, this means that we are doing things the right way, that we do deliver the service with quality, and that until now, that there are some discussions in the media about retirement of the cables, about the new COVA. Until now, the general public didn't know about these stations. So, yeah, we've gathered quite an experience in terms of the submarine cable industry. And this experience gave us capabilities to now be able to help future projects that might want to come into Portugal. Besides just landing the cables, besides giving the front haul, the space and power, we are able to help in the submarine cable project installation, in submarine cable repair, O&M, be it preventive or be it reactive O&M repair. And also, we are involved in giving support to central billing party functions or NOC functions. We are executing these functions. So, having said that, and now coming back a little bit to what is the objective of the presentation, and remind you just that we are also talking about the data gateways. I wanted to speak a little bit about Covilhã. So for most of you, well, you might never heard about this name, Covilhã, and it has this L and H that is difficult to spell, so most of you may not know about this. But we have chosen Covilhã to construct, to build our data center. It's a tier 3 data center in the heart of Portugal, near the border to Spain. And we have chosen Covilhã because it's not only a place where the climate is right for having a data center of this type, but also because in terms of geography, it is a place that is safe from seismic events, in particular seismic events. So this was one of the ideas behind the choosing of Covilhã as a city to host this data center. But also, if we draw lines between Lisbon or Porto into one of the main exits of fiber networks from Portugal to Spain, we can see that Covilhã is located on the right spot. If you draw from Lisbon or Porto to Madrid, and Lisbon or Porto to Bilbao, going through Vilar Formoso or Fuentes de Oñoro in Spain, you can see that Covilhã is located on a point that will give customers the right latency in terms of interconnection through these cities. So it is a tier 3 data center, as I said, with high efficiency, with renewable energy also, and high redundancy and reliability. But we have been talking about Altice's infrastructure, and it is also important to remind everyone and as Thomas said, things need to come together, and we need to work in partnerships to better develop what is the interconnectivity between all points in Portugal. It's really interesting to see that since the liberalization, new entrants came into Portugal, and besides Altice's own infrastructure, there is also other players that are providing these same infrastructures. And we can see that in the Lisbon metro area, where we have the largest number of infrastructures, we can see that we have Seixal Cable Landing Station, which is one station that we, from the beginning, wanted to be interconnected with and wanted to be offering services to clients and to be able to interconnect each cable landing station to this point. And also a carrier-neutral data center inside central Lisbon. So all this came together, and what I think is now driving the investment in Portugal is exactly this amount of infrastructures available. If you look into Sines, there's a new cable landing station, there's a new cable landing, so it's on that number, Ella Link is on that 6 new cables landing from 2021 to 2024, as you can see. But apart from Ella Link, there's also Equiano, and we are really proud to tell you that we are landing Equiano in Sesimbra, which for us is a huge step in terms of continuing to be present in the industry. And what we see, and we know as a fact, is that Google has chosen Sesimbra because, one, of our experience, and two, because of the geographical conditions of Sesimbra's Bay. So, just to go quickly, and I know that time is running out, just to go quickly around this amount of investment that is coming to Portugal. So, at least 6 new cables, as I've said. We have now 4 cable landing stations in mainland Portugal, with already 10 submarine cables landed. But apart from the submarine sector, we also have the satellite sector. And apart from the gateways that are already in operations, we will have 2 new LEO constellations gateways in operations in Portugal until the end of this year. One is OneWeb, and one that also is announced in the media will be Starlink. And this tends to continue to grow. Even if we look into the fiber routes, the land fiber routes, connecting Portugal to the rest of Europe, which means connecting Portugal to Spain, we see that the investment is now picking up again. So there are already networks in place, but we see an investment at the fiber pair level from several customers, or several partners, if you want to. So what we think is that we are on the right path as a country, not only as a company, but as a country, as a group of companies working in the industry. And with final remarks, what I wanted to say is that we see that Portugal and Lisbon will become a telecommunications data hub. We understand that this amount of investment will bring also content to the edge. And what might happen with Lisbon and Portugal is something that happened with Marseille years ago, and it continues to grow. Also, leveraging on what's happening outside our borders. So in Spain, we see that this will help us to grow as a telecommunications hub. But to achieve this, we will need to be more open, more flexible, and we know that, and we have been doing that recently, namely with the EQN, which will be a fully open access cable. And to conclude, I think that high quality connections between all this infrastructure will be key to keep growing as a hub. And we are prepared to do that, namely with the infrastructure we have just deployed with our fiber network. So thank you very much, Jorge. Thank you.